Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Fears video, Fat Phil, and we've got a packed video where we're going to be talking about Galactic Legends Leia and why I think, as much as I love this character, that it is a very scary release for free-to-play players in Galaxy of Heroes. We're going to get right into this. First and foremost, just a huge shout out to my channel members. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. If you're interested in joining, there's a link down below. Otherwise, I'd really appreciate it if you could just hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up button on this video, and go watch all the rest of my stuff too, because that helps. But I'd really love if you could help me grow this channel. I appreciate your support so much, and I'm humbled and honored that I have gotten the support that I have. So let's continue to grow this channel. GL Leia was announced on the forums yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead, we're going to jump over to the screen capture here, and I'm going to move my face up here so we can clearly see text. So here is Leia, right? I mean, she's the Endor version in honor of the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. What I want to do first is cover some key attributes. Offensive powerhouse, able to be competitive with most Galactic Legends on offense. We did hear that. I'm going to show you guys later in the video a potential counter to Leia that I'm actually going to laugh about. Enemy role call out. All abilities do something based on the role, including new icons to show what role each enemy is. So that's part of the reason why I think she's an offensive Galactic Legend, is that based on the role of that character, things do different stuff. So you're going to want to make the right decision at the right time. She's a Rebel GL. She prevents all cooldown manipulation, right? All cooldown manipulation. That means that her and her team's cooldowns can't be increased, and you can't decrease the cooldowns on your team. So sorry, Kenobi, Commander Tano. There is no cooldown decrease for you. You're stuck with that 8-turn cooldown. And this would apply to any character with any kind of cooldown manipulation. One of the other big ones off meta would be Darth Traya and Darth Nihilus. They cannot do any kind of cooldown manipulation both for or against them. And then she is a tank that doesn't taunt, which again, we did hear that. So I'm going to scroll down to the basic ability. We're going to go basic, unique, all the way down. We're just going to go in order here. So Righteous Retribution. Deal physical damage to target enemy. Rebel allies gain retribution for 2 turns. So that's the basic, right? That she gains retribution for 2 turns. When it's on her turn, she deals bonus true damage to the target equal to 10% of the damage other rebel allies received since her last turn, and deal additional effects based on target enemy's roll. So on her turn, she's going to deal this extra bonus damage. And then to attackers, she'll dispel buffs and reduce their speed by 5 to a max of 200 per buff dispelled until the end of the encounter. So if you dispel, say, 6 buffs on that target, that is a 30 speed reduction to that character. So that is a really, really important aspect to this, that you're going to want to target characters with a lot of buffs on them if they're an attacker, because you're going to reduce their speed. Healers and supports. Dispel all debuffs on all rebel allies. Equalize Leia's health and protection with the weakest rebel ally. Then recover 20% health and protection. I mean, holy crap. And you think Leia's got this huge health pool so they can equalize it and then boom, recover 20%. I mean, what the heck? Tanks, call all other rebel allies to assist. Limit once per turn. Reduce the target enemy's max health by 5% per rebel ally until the end of the encounter. That does not exclude Galactic Legends. So bear that in mind. That does not exclude somebody like Jedi Master Luke. That we could reduce his health there. But any tanks, so Chrysanthemum, Jedi or General Kenobi. I don't know about Royal. I think Royal Guard. I'd have to see if that team. I feel like they're immune to health reduction. So the Lord Vader team might still be safe. Shocking, I know. But any tank in a team going to reduce their max health by 5% per rebel ally. So 25% right off the bat, because it's per rebel ally, which counts herself. The next one, Rebel Ambush. Deal physical damage plus bonus true damage equal to 10% of her max health. So I think for Leia, just reading that and some of the other things in the kit, you're going to want her to have a lot of health. Remove 20% turn meter and inflict a stack of ambush on target enemy until the end of their next turn. Rebel allies gain 10% mastery and 25% potency stacking until the end of the encounter. 10% mastery stacking is crazy on this ability. That mastery is one of the best things you can gain in this game, because that's what makes you wonder, what makes Kylo hit so hard. Mastery, right? That he can gain that mastery. She's going to be giving her entire team mastery. And then you're going to inflict debuffs based on the roll. Attackers get dazed, which can't be dispelled. Healers and supports get stagger, and tanks get buff immunity for a single turn. Ambush, right, this debuff here, is minus 50 speed. And then at 6 stacks, now it's a max of 50, so you could have 6 stacks and you're only going to lose 50 speed. You get ambushed, right? Love that we're creative here. It's, again, that minus 50 speed with the max of 50, but protection is disabled, immune to protection up, and bonus protection. So the only galactic legend that this does nothing to outside of the speed is Lord Vader, because they don't have protection. But protection is disabled. So Jedi Master Luke, like every other galactic legend, they're losing protection. And then protection up and bonus protection. So guys like Kenobi and Jabba with that protection up, or Rey with her bonus protection, that goes away. That is unbelievable that that's what ambush does. So you're going to want to make sure that you can get there as quick as possible to get through those characters. Next we have Special 2, Tactical Offensive. Again, these are both 4-turn cooldowns. And there's no way to reduce those cooldowns. Dispel all debuffs and remove 100% turn meter from target other ally. Deal physical damage plus bonus true damage increased by 1% per turn meter removed from target other ally to all enemies. Wow. So, if you pick a target with, say, 10% turn meter, you're going to deal additional 10% true damage. If you pick someone with 100% turn meter, you're dealing 100% true damage to all enemies. All enemies. Everyone. It's an AoE. Then you're going to remove call to action from all rebel allies, and then they gain it for 4 turns, which can't be copied, dispelled, and 10% max health stacking until the end of the encounter. Again, additional stacking statistics. We've already got mastery, potency. Now we're adding max health into the mix with these special abilities. On their next turn, target other ally gains 50% offense for their next ability, and if it is their basic ability, they gain an additional 2% offense for each percent of turn meter removed, and ignore protection for that ability. So, you're already going to be giving them this, hey, you get 50% offense. Oh, if you use your basic and I removed 100% turn meter from you, you're going to be getting 250% offense on your next turn from this ability. Then, if they defeat a target during their next turn, they gain 50% turn meter. Target other ally gains stealth and 150 speed for 1 turn. So you're going to remove all their turn meter, right? If this defeats an enemy, right? Target other ally gains stealth and speed. What I'm curious about is if this, I'm curious in the order of operations here, that if it's this if statement right here, does this come from the if statement, or is it up here? That'd be my one question. And then you're going to inflict debuffs based on the enemy's roll. So critical chance, critical damage down, potency down, tenacity down, defense down, and vulnerable on tanks is probably the best one here. That is awesome. The defense down and vulnerable, that's going to allow you to critically hit when you can, and defense down, that's just bonkers. Unique one forever, our princess. At the start of battle, right? At the start of battle here, R2-D2 gains 75% max health, max protection, offense, potency until the end of battle. Stealth for 1 turn. Assist whenever Leia uses a special ability, dealing 50% more damage. Damage R2 receives is decreased by 20%, and rebel allies recover 10% health whenever R2 attacks out of turn. I need to stop here because we need to go and read up somewhere. I wanted to save this. We're going to read right here. In the FAQ section, it says, how does Forever Our Princess stat bonuses impact R2-D2's number crunch? Applied before number crunch triggers. Before number crunch triggers. So I'm going to switch back over to the game here for a second. Right? If we go back over to the game for a second. What is number crunch, you ask, right? You should know this because it's awesome. But number crunch. At the start of battle, R2-D2 gains 10% max protection for each droid, 10% offense for each Galactic Republic ally, 10% from each Rebel ally, and 10% potency for each resistance. So when it says each, it includes himself. So he's going to give himself 10% offense, protection, and potency because he's droid, Galactic Republic, and resistance. And then he's going to get himself 50% additional max health. 50% additional max health because of the 5 Rebel allies. Then, Rebel and Resistance ally, Galactic Droid, Galactic Republic, Rebel, and Resistance allies gain 10% of his max protection, offense, health, and potency until he's defeated. So R2 is getting all of these stats from Leia. Then he's going to give himself that much more health and then share those stats with everybody. Everybody's going to get juiced from R2-D2's stats, particularly the amount of health he is getting. This is insane. R2 is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this team. He is going to be driving this team to deal more damage, have more health, potency, all that stuff. This is awesome, right? I wanted to mention that like while we're in the kit that I really did need to show that because that is a hugely important part of this. But we're not even done with that unique, right? We're not even done. We just read the first sentence of that unique ability. If all allies are rebels, right? If all allies are rebels, at the start of her turn and each enemy's turn, Leia gains Fearless if she didn't already have it until she receives damage. Whenever an enemy's turn ends while she has Fearless, she gains 2% max health. All enemies lose 5% mastery, 15% defense and tenacity until the end of the encounter, and Leia gains 4% ultimate charge. So now there's more stacking statistics for Leia, and your team is losing mastery, losing defense, and tenacity. And then she's getting ultimate charge. I mean, what's not to love about that? While she has Fearless at the end of each of her turns, non-scoundrel Rebel allies, no Han, no Chewie, right? Anything that's scoundrel and Rebel, she can't be with, right? Gains 5% mastery stacking until the end of the encounter, and Leia gains 4% ultimate charge. She can't gain Fearless as she has a taunt effect, so if Leia is marked or has death mark, she can't gain Fearless. At the start of her turn, all other Rebel allies recover health equal to 100% of the damage Leia received since her last turn. If their health was already at 100, they recover this amount in protection instead. So if you're dealing damage to Leia, the rest of her team is recovering health and protection. So it's a very unique situation here where you could do all the work on Leia, but the rest of her team is going to be at full health and protection. Whenever a Rebel attacker or Rebel support ally is dazed, they gain bonus protection 100% for one turn. Whenever an enemy is ambushed, all Rebel allies gain Foresight for one turn. Whenever a Jedi Rebel tank uses an ability on their turn, Leia assists. And then Fearless, all allies are immune to Expose and Fear. All allies have 50% offense and tenacity. I mean, that is just nuts. You think if she has Fearless, if you have Fearless, you're getting the whole, the bonus offense from this thing. I mean, the amount of offense on this team is absolutely nuts, right? There's so much offense on this team. Galactic Legend, that's the same thing for everybody, right? Amplifier levels, damage is increased by, 30%. Then finally, her leader ability. I know. All Rebel allies, I don't know if you guys can read the first part here. Let me move the face. Here, I'll do it like this maybe. Hold on. Start here. That should look better. Okay. All Rebel allies have 40 speed. Non-scoundrel Rebel attackers gain 25% mastery and max health and max protection. Jedi Rebel tanks gain 100% defense for 2 turns at the start of the encounter, protection up for 1 turn when they gain taunt, and deal bonus true damage equal to 20% of their max health when using a basic ability against an enemy with protection up. So, Jedi Master Kenobi, Kersantin, Jabba has the protection up in his kit. Hey, you're stopping them. You're dealing 20% of their max health. That is, oh my gosh, that is crazy. Rebel allies take 25% reduced damage from it out of turn attacks and are immune to max health reduction and plague. Night Sisters, I hate to break it to you, you're not getting through this one. Whenever enemies attack out of turn, non-scoundrel rebel allies gain 1% mastery, stacking until the end of the encounter. At the start of each rebel ally's turn, dispel foresight and stealth from all enemies. So you attack out of turn, and you're just going to be feeding mastery to that team. Which is, I mean, it's crazy to me that, like, just the amount of mastery and offense this team is going to be gaining. You think you attack out of turn, mastery, 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 and that's 1% stacking. So that adds up over time, that the more every single time you gain mastery, you're gaining more than you did the last time because it's 1% of your current mastery. Whenever an enemy with less than 100% turn meter gains bonus turn meter, rebel allies gain 100% critical avoidance, stacking, and Empire enemies can't gain bonus turn meter for 1 turn. Sorry, Imperial Troopers, you're not working here either. Whenever a rebel ally has their turn meter reduced, they can't have their turn meter reduced again for 1 turn. Whenever an enemy is revived, all rebel allies gain 10% turn meter. So again, Night Sisters, you're not going to be working here because even if you're reviving, the rebel allies are going to gain 10% turn meter while you are. But the other one up here that I didn't mention, but I wanted to save it for shock factor. Empire enemies can't gain bonus turn meter. That's Emperor Palpatine and Mara Jade. So Starkiller not working here either. Enemies inflicted with burning from a rebel ally can't recover health, and if burning is dispelled on an enemy, they take 20% of their max health as damage. Whenever a rebel ally inflicts an enemy with burning, they gain damage immunity for 1 turn. The first time a non-scoundrel rebel ally loses all of their protection, they gain second wind for 3 turns, which can't be copied. Allies and enemies are immune to cooldown manipulation. There's that part. No cooldown manipulation. Second wind, the first time this character would be reduced to 1% health, dispel this buff and recover 50% health and protection instead. It's like a mini savior. If you do read the FAQ up here, it does say that it can be dispelled. So there is a little bit of relief there that you can dispel that. Right? So that's her leadership ability. Now we've got the ultimate, these are my friends. Look at this. This is so sick. Right? That is so cool. Gain 4% ultimate charge whenever an enemy's turn or Leia's turn ends while she has a stack of Fearless. And 1% whenever a rebel ally deals damage while they have call to action. Sheesh. Deal true damage to all enemies equal to 30% of her max health. 90% against enemies who are ambushed. So if you have ambushed enemies, which is they got that 6 stacks, right? 90% of her max health is damage. Remove 100% turn meter. Inflict ambush on all enemies for 1 turn who don't already have it. And if all allies are rebels, fracture all enemies until the end of her next turn or she's defeated. Gosh, I mean, this just, like, what? All rebel allies recover 100% health and protection. Gain tenacity up for 3 turns, which can't be dispelled or prevented. All other rebel allies gain 50 speed for 2 turns. If this ability defeats an enemy, revive all defeated rebel allies. They recover full health and protection. And non-scoundrel rebels gain 30% mastery until the end of the encounter. And other rebel allies gain an additional 50 speed for 2 turns. I mean, just what in the name? This is the most insane kit that has ever been released. I mean, power creep is real, right? The power creep in this is real. I do want to go up. We're going to read a few more of the things up here about FAQs and other stuff. So, inspiration, right? Endor Strike. Lots of R2 callouts. And she has synergy with Jedi Rebel tanks like Old Ben and Kanan, who she's interacted with in her past. So again, those are the two. When they say Jedi Rebel tanks, you're looking at Old Ben and Kanan. Which, the one downside here is that right away now, you're either taking Old Ben away from Starkiller for a lot of players, or Kanan away from that Phoenix team, which just got Captain Rex. So I think Old Ben is going to be the play here. We'll get into a little bit of what her team should look like down below. Due to how tactical she is and her identity as a key target, she's better saved on offense. She can still hold some ground on defense, but she was designed as more of an offensive Galactic Legend. That makes sense. Enemy roles influence your decision. And damage the squad receives is a big mechanic. Again, as Leia takes damage, right, she heals her allies. You want to be picking which character loses turn meter. They can have a lot of out-of-turn attacks between Drogon, R2, Jedi tanks. Leia also applies Retribution for even more attacks. Keeping call to action up is important to generate ultimate charge. Can also gain ultimate charge from Fearless. So, geez. Now, the FAQ here, these are some important things. They gated 3PO and Chewie's unique with her release. So, 3PO and Chewie will probably, it's going to read something like, except for Galactic Legends. Like Trench's kit, where it excludes Separatist Galactic Legends, even though there isn't one right now. So they're going to make sure that 2PO's unique doesn't allow for, like, Galactic Legends. Because imagine that Chewie is gaining 40% of Leia's max health, offense, all those stats, and then sharing them with the team. Like, they want to keep that Commander Luke Skywalker team together. And there's no net impact to the balance of that team. Ambush speed does not stack beyond, minus 50. Bonus damage and ignore protection on basic from tactical offensive. Only applies to the first attack instance of damage on that character's turn. If your character uses their basic twice like Han Solo, the second instance of damage will not get these bonuses. The other character that comes to mind here would be Princess Leia, how she can attack multiple times. That bonus damage and ignoring protection on her, special ability there is only going to work on the first instance. Second one is dispelled. Number crunch happens after her unique. There's new role icons, right, that will have a role for understanding how they'll impact. Why are there some non-rebel scoundrel callouts? Again, Han Solo is the reason. They don't want you using Han and Chewie with this character. Why is there call to action synergy if CLS isn't intended to be on the ideal squad? We like the idea of expanding that buff to more rebels and using it in other ways. Call to action aligns with the type of leader Leia was for the Rebel Alliance. She was very upfront and unafraid to dictate the battlefield and stare down the opposition. She provides it for her diehard Rebel team as a rallying call to press the attack against the enemy. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack here. A lot of things in this kit. We're going to have to continue to dissect this, but she looks like she is just going to completely revolutionize offensive gameplay in this game. Here's just some thoughts I have before I switch back over to the game to show a few things about her kit, the team you might be thinking about, characters, and then also a counter for her. It seems like they really tried to take away a lot of off-meta counters for this character. With the prevention of turn meter from Empire enemies. Where was that at? I know it was in here somewhere. Yeah. Was it in her leadership ability that it was? Trying to remember where that was. Yeah. So Empire enemies, that's stopping Starkiller. That's stopping your Imperial troopers. Turn meter reduction is a big thing for some Galactic Legends. So, you can't happen more than once. And, revives, Rebel allies gaining 10% turn meter. I mean, that's obviously your Night Sisters. But you think about anytime Chrysanthemum comes back, your team gets 10% turn meter. Anytime Jolie is reviving anyone, 10% turn meter. So there are some instances where, those revives could impact other things and you're going to give your team turn meter. It's a really good balancing mechanic to say, yeah, we're trying to make this team insane. I do think they're underselling her defensive performance. Where I think they're heading with that, right, is you think with these role things and stuff, you might want to attack this, certain things. But I think defensively, there's going to be some Galactic Legend exploits to this team. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of off-meta situations because of that turn meter manipulation. Just the way that, you're going to almost have to kill Leia first and then go for the rest of the team. That's really difficult. So, yeah, I mean, this is crazy. And I actually think it's super interesting that they have Wedge here in this mechanic because we're going to switch back over to the game and I'm going to talk about some of the teams, some of the characters that you could use with Galactic Legends Leia. So, I'm going to move my thing down here. There we go. All right. So, if I go to my squads, right, your nailed on team here, I think, is Geo Leia, not Rebel Officer. Rebel Officer is just kind of a placeholder for Leia. You've got Old Ben, R2, and Drogon. I think this is your nailed on team, that you're going to want those three characters as nailed on in her team. I think it makes the most sense, right? I think that is the team that's going to make the most sense. And I'd say in 3v3, you're probably going to be looking at an R2 and Captain Drogon as that squad because you're going to want as much burning as possible on your team. And all the stats she's giving R2 are going to be very important to juicing everybody else. So I think these three are nailed on with R2 and Drogon being the two most important. Now, you could double tank it with Kanan and Old Ben. I don't think this is a horrible idea. Like the only thing is you're taking Kanan away from that Phoenix Squadron, and you're taking Old Ben away from that Starkiller team. So that is something to keep in mind there, that you are going to have to rip apart a current team and either find another replacement or build another one. So I do think that's a big deal here. Other potential characters as that 5th slot, though. Rebel Officer Leia Organa is an attacker, and she's a rebel. She's got some really good mechanics, right? That she's got stacking offense. Anytime that she resists a detrimental or suffers a debuff, right? She's going to gain turn meter and offense. So there's a lot of stuff in here that could work really well with Galactic Legends Leia's kit. The next one I would look at here, Princess Leia even could be really good. She's got her Zeta. She's got Omicrons that can be really, really good. Additional retribution on that team. So that is a character that I think could work really well, particularly, you think, with like extra stealth synergy from characters like R2-D2. From Leia, she can gain a lot of turn meter. It seems like this team, when possible, is going to want to be gaining turn meter. So I think that's a really important part of this kit. And then Wedge. So I said that it was interesting that Wedge was there, and I'll tell you why I like Wedge in this team. So the first thing, if you go to his basic, he inflicts defense down. And this attack deals 50% more damage to target suffering defense down. So if he's getting called to assist on a character that has defense down, he's dealing more damage. But remember that part of Leia's kit, one of those abilities was that if you targeted a tank, they're inflicted with defense down. So now that character has it, Wedge is going to be hitting for that much harder. He's also got an AoE ability, dealing damage to all enemies, 50% more to Empire enemies or with ones that have more than 50% health. So right off the bat, he could be dealing a lot of damage. And then his unique ability even, he's getting 12% offense and 9 speed for each ally with full health. So as soon as everybody's got full health, right, Wedge is going to have, and it says each, so that is plus 45 speed and 60% offense. That is like bonkers good. And the reason why I picked out these 3 characters, if we go back to her kit for a second, right? I just want to go back to the kit because it is important that you guys understand why I picked solely attackers, is down in here in her leadership ability. Non-scoundrel rebel attackers gain the mastery and max health and protection, and Jedi rebel tanks gain 100% defense at the start of the encounter, protection up. It says nothing about rebel support characters. So you need to use rebel attackers that aren't scoundrels. And that's why I picked out those 3. They're ones that don't have true teams right now. I mean, Rolo can go with Sana Staros, but like you want to pick these characters that fit the system the best. And I think you're going to want to take advantage of this extra mastery, health, and protection. And it seems like her kit was really designed to take some of those older characters and kind of bring them into the fold, right? That with 50% max health, protection, and mastery, Wedge probably has similar stats to characters who are getting released nowadays. So that was part of why I wanted to bring up those characters in particular, is because they are those attackers and are going to get the full benefit of that mastery, health, and protection. Now, the solid counter here is Sith Eternal. And this sounds crazy because everybody knows I'm not a big fan of Sith Eternal. But I feel that you're not going to want to use Leia on defense because of Sith Eternal, and here's why. So he's got his Deceived ability, right? Deceived, you can't target, and when you use an ability this way, you're going to get 2% ultimate charge. So if your team is Deceived and they're assisting, he gains ultimate charge that much faster. But the big part here is in his, I think it's his unique. Deceived enemies can't counterattack, and Deceived Rebel and Jedi enemies can't gain bonus turn meter. So Sith Eternal, he's going to spread Deceived on the field, and now you're not gaining bonus turn meter. You're juicing the amount of ultimate charge he's getting, and he's going to be able to really do some terrible things to that team. So that is something that I've been thinking about, that is Sith Eternal going to be a super solid counter to this Galactic Legends Leia team. So, yeah, just something to think about there. He's going to be, I think he could be really solid against this team on defense. And that would be awesome because right now a lot of players, we're finding ourselves using Sith Eternal as a counter for Darth Malgus because there's not really a Galactic Legend he's consistently beating. So if this keeps Leia off of the defensive board, I think that's a solid win, right? So that is something to keep in mind, that I think Sith Eternal could be a really solid counter for her. So, yeah, guys, I mean, this is a super long video, but this kit is going to be massive for the game. It does make me nervous because there's a lot of power creep in here. It's very obvious that this character is, that they don't want Leia to have non-galactic legend counters. That, you know, you think like the Empire, one of the best off-meta teams in terms of your Imperial Troopers, your Inquisitors, and, you know, Emperor Palpatine, Mara Jade with Starkiller. It's really going to cause problems for players. We're really going to have to figure this character out. So I think that her defensive performance is that, yeah, against other GL, she's going to suffer, but on offense, she's going to just be clear. So I'm excited. I'm very curious to see what you guys think. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. I want to know your thoughts. If you're still watching at the end of this video, we are like over a half hour in, so please go ahead, comment down below that Fat Phil is, what should we be saying? You know what? Comment that I'm wearing a backwards hat. Say, love the backwards hat, Fat Phil, if you're still watching right now. I love all you. May the Force be with you. I'll see you guys in the next video. Cheers.